Viewers, before we dive in, drop a quick comment with your city and the local time right now. I want to see how far this story travels tonight. And while you type, picture this bright orange flames licking up the side of a modest two-story home. The windows glowing like molten eyes in the dark, smoke curling into the night air, smelling of scorched wood and memories. DeAndre Washington stands there in pajama pants and slippers, the cold concrete biting through the thin soles, trying to get anyone in uniform to move. 3 firefighters in turnout, Gear Captain Rodriguez and his loyal shadows, Thompson and Miller, are just standing there. Well, standing there and scrolling TikTok. Rodriguez actually checks his watch like he's timing his next snack break, not the survival of someone's home. When DeAndre pleads about his wife's medical equipment, the man shrugs as if he'd just been asked to fetch a paperclip. Historians still argue whether the term professional operation has ever been used with more misplaced confidence than when Rodriguez says it to Mrs. Chun, the silver-haired neighbor who charges through the crowd like a general. She's armed only with outrage and a cardigan, but she still tells him to do his job. He waves her off. The ring camera across the street catches everything: Rodriguez's lazy posture, Thompson's thumb-scrolling marathons, Miller's fake yawns. Across the street, Kesha Johnson starts an Instagram live with hands shaking like she's holding a winning lottery ticket. "Y'all need to see this," she whispers, and within minutes her viewer count rockets past 800. The comments pour in faster than the fire spreads. People are tagging local news, demanding someone call the station, asking where this is happening. DeAndre's eyes flick down to his own watch, a Patek Philippe, the kind of thing you don't buy on layaway, and the firelight dances on the gold casing. If the firefighters notice, they don't care. They joke about Elmwood, the wealthy white neighborhood across town that always seems to get the A-team treatment. They assume he's a car wash guy with delusions of grandeur. And that's the thing about assumptions theory, like using crocodile dung sunscreen. You think you're covered until reality burns you alive. More neighbors show up, filming, murmuring. A few try to push past the police line, but the officers keep them back. What nobody on the fire crew realizes is that every insult, every wasted second, is building toward a moment that will flip this whole scene upside down. And DeAndre, calm, quiet, deliberate, already knows exactly when that moment will come. It happens so fast the crowd almost misses its shift from desperate homeowner to man, in complete control. DeAndre walks to his Mercedes, the plate gleaming with City 001, and pulls out a black leather briefcase like it's just another Tuesday at City Hall. He makes a phone call, low voice, back turned, but a few sharp ears in the crowd catch the words, "Yes, this is Mayor Washington." It ripples through the bystanders' gasps, whispers, someone's phone nearly slipping from their hand. Kesha's live stream explodes past 10,000 viewers. Rodriguez is still leaning on his truck, blissfully ignorant that the ground under him just cracked wide open. By the time Chief Hawkins arrives in her white SUV, lights strobing red and blue across the smoke, the air is thick with more than ash. Cameras are everywhere. She asks for a status update, and Rodriguez, in a voice that could put a caffeinated squirrel to sleep, says, "No immediate life threat. We're assessing." Historians still argue whether Hawkins' raised eyebrow in that moment was the birth of regret or just indigestion. Either way, she's uneasy. DeAndre steps forward, controlled as a chess master on move 30. 18 minutes of assessment, he says, and for the first time, Hawkins looks from him to Rodriguez with real suspicion. Then Channel 7 shows up, Jessica Martinez and her camera operator instantly zeroing in on the absurd tableau: firefighters doing nothing, neighbors in tears, a home slowly disappearing in flames. And then, like he's pulling the pin on a grenade, DeAndre opens that briefcase, takes out his wallet, and flips open the gold-sealed ID. Mayor DeAndre Washington, City of Riverside. The crowd erupts, misses. Chin claps her hands to her mouth. A teenager yells, "This is going viral worldwide." Rodriguez goes pale in a way sunscreen could never fix. Hawkins freezes mid-step. Even Officer Jenkins straightens like he just remembered parade rest. DeAndre doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. He starts reciting budget numbers: Rodriguez's salary, Thompson's, Miller's all funded by the taxpayers they've just ignored. He quotes city ordinances, federal statutes, and civil rights law like he's reading a bedtime story, if bedtime stories carried the weight of potential prison time. Every word is being broadcast live to tens of thousands. And when he calls the city attorney loudly, publicly, requesting a DOJ Civil Rights Division investigation, you can almost hear Rodriguez's career pack its bags. Hawkins suspends all three men on the spot and orders full suppression efforts. In seconds, the idle crew moves like their lives depend on it. DeAndre just watches, one eyebrow raised, and says, "Amazing how quickly protocols can be followed when careers are at stake." The crowd roars, phones high. For the first time that night, the fire isn't the hottest thing on that street. From that moment, the blaze outside is nothing compared to the firestorm inside the department. DeAndre lays out reforms like a man reading from a playbook he's been polishing for months. Mandatory quarterly bias training, a public dashboard tracking response times, a community oversight board with subpoena power. He even unveils an app already coded and ready to launch, letting citizens watch in real time whether help is coming or just assessing. Hawkins, suddenly a model of cooperation, agrees to every condition on the spot, her pen moving faster than a court stenographer on espresso. Rodriguez makes one last, shaky appeal to due process, but DeAndre cuts him down with the precision of a surgeon. Union contracts won't shield deliberate civil rights violations. Termination is immediate. And the kicker? Personal liability for the $700,000 in preventable property damage, a figure so heavy it could sink him twice. Thompson and Miller, still pale, keep their heads down, knowing suspension or reassignment is a gift compared to what's about to happen to their captain. Historians still argue whether Hawkins' decision to cooperate that night was driven by moral awakening or the looming federal budget acts. Either way, within 72 hours, DOJ investigators arrive, and within 30 days, Riverside Fire Department looks like a different creature. The app becomes a national model. Response times improve citywide. The Community Oversight Board, chaired by Mrs. Chan, whose steely glare could make a Dalmatian sit meets monthly in DeAndre's rebuilt home. Even the police and building inspection divisions adopt similar transparency measures. Kesha turns her viral stream into a citizen journalism career, shadowing public service calls with a phone in one hand and the weight of 50,000 followers in the other. Rodriguez, stripped of pension and reputation, becomes the cautionary tale at national training seminars. 20 minutes of prejudice costing him everything. Meanwhile, DeAndre's reforms spread beyond Riverside to over 100 cities, slashing bias complaints and leveling the service gap between neighborhoods. And now, the wind-down image in the street 2 years later, same spot where Rodriguez once stood, but tonight it's calm. The air smells faintly of grilled corn from a food truck down the block, not smoke. A diverse crew of firefighters in fresh gear kneels beside laughing kids, showing them how to spray a hose. DeAndre stands off to the side with his wife, her wheelchair rolling easily over the smooth new pavement. His mother's paintings, restored and framed, wait for them back home in a safe room that no flame will touch again. The crowd here tonight isn't angry theory engaged, leaning in as a firefighter explains how the public dashboard works. There's a softness to the scene, a reminder that systems can change when someone stands their ground and refuses to let bias burn through another life. The voices are low, the lights gentle. The mayor watches the demonstration, hand on his wife's shoulder, and the moment stretches like a slow breath. Justice is no longer something to demand. It's built into the walls. And as the evening breeze lifts, carrying the sound of distant laughter, the lesson lingers: dignity, data, and determination, folded quietly into the fabric of the city, where every siren now means help is truly on the way.